Let's talk about it. Well, there we are.
Hey,
Here we are. You able to hear me okay?
I got you.
All right, well, you're not that far away, so. Hey, Joanne. How's it going? Guys, we want to thank you for showing up tonight. As you can see, conspicuous by her absence, if you didn't read my post, Katie is involved in a metaphysical convention, and my lovely wife, Lori, has decided to pop in and step in for her. And tonight's discussion, I really wanted to get it out there. I really wanted to kind of bring it up. Let's talk about it. Great name for a show. And then just kind of mull over some of the idiosyncrasies, some of the facets of it, some of the, I don't know, some of the things that I guess make sense where it got us where we are today. Because we have a team. I'm the founder of the team. Lori is my lead investigator, and out of the, what do we have? 7, 9? How many we have now? Jesus Christ!
I think 7. I think we're at 7.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Ron, how's it going? Out of the 7, 4 of those are ladies. No, that can't be right. It's got to be more than that. It's got to be 9. 5 and 4. Remember? 5 and 4.
That's right.
5 of those are ladies. 4 of those are guys. And we'll talk a little bit later on about kind of our dynamic and our as I call it, our hierarchy. But I wanted to bring it up tonight, and I wanted to talk about some of the things about the ladies and the paranormal, because I've watched the shows, guys. I mean, just like y'all have, I watched the shows, and I have seen how those shows break down, how those what roles the ladies participate in. And a lot of times I do have a certain feeling about certain ways that they're being portrayed. But, Lori did a lot of research for this. Hey, Judy. Yeah, Lori did a lot of research for this. And I kind of wanted to go through. We've got some subject highlighters we wanted to talk about. So kind of the first one, she's got notes for this that she's found for the research she did. Kind of, where it all began.
Hey. And Richard, that's a great place to jump off, because typically when we think about women in the paranormal, everyone wants to immediately start with Lorraine Warren, which Lorraine Warren, absolutely amazing paranormal investigator. She brought a lot to the field of paranormal investigation. But we actually have to go back beyond that, because as we were talking about it, it really got me wondering, was there someone before Lorraine? Were there more people? And as I researched, I actually went all the way back to 1848. So we're talking long time ago. And the original ghost hunter, the original female ghost hunter, was actually Catherine Crowe. And she was not only a paranormal investigator, but she was also an author. Her book in 1848 was The Night Side of Nature. It brought to light things like OBEs, NDEs, time slips, ESP, and then she's the person who coined the phrases like poltergeist and doppelgangers, which I thought that was really interesting, because I never would have personally thought those terms had been around that long.
Right.
But there were others as well. Now, she was from England, but there were others like Alexandria David Neal. She studied Buddhist monks, and she brought about tulpas and telepathy, other mental abilities. We had Zora Neale Hurston, which what I found really interesting about her is she was from late 1800s into the 1960s. She was African American. So this was a point in history when African American women weren't really in the forefront. We're talking about, that's slavery has ended, allegedly during that time. But we had a lot of things going on, and she actually was a trained anthropologist. She studied hoodoo. She was the first person to photograph a Haitian zombie. Now, I'm not sure how much I believe in zombies, but she did and actually has photographic evidence.
Okay.
And then if we even talk about people like, and not a female, but if we look at Harry Houdini, and we know from watching shows like Conjuring Kesha, when they went to investigate, I know, babe, I know how you feel about that show. When they went to investigate the Houdini house, and we learned that Harry Houdini was into the paranormal, he had a lady by the name of Rose Mackenberg that worked for him, and she investigated spirit fraud. And if we're talking about, she was his lead investigator, and she went out into the field to purposely debunk things, and to find people who were perpetrating fraud on the spirits, because she felt like, and Houdini felt like, people were muddying the waters. And so she was out there working in the field to try to get rid of the misconceptions, to make sure that people were held accountable and that they weren't causing sensationalism in the field of paranormal activity.
Okay.
If we even go back as far as the Fox sisters, they introduced the world to mediumship, a group of females that later came out and said that they were frauds and that they used trickery.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So women have a rich history in the field of paranormal activity and paranormal investigation.
All right. So, but what about today? I know today we watch a lot of them. Who do we see, guys, as recognizable paranormal dames or ladies of the paranormal nowadays? Who do we have on our list, Lori?
Well, we have Cindy Kaza. Woo, woo. You know, I love me some Cindy Kaza. Amy, is it Amy? Amy from Kindred Spirits. I can't think of her last name. Chelsea Layden, Katrina Weidman, Amy Allen, of course, Lorraine Warman. We've already mentioned her.
You're thinking about Amy Bruni from?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Chris Williams, Charlene
is another one, huh?
Charlene Lowe Kemp is another one also.
Okay.
Oh, you should share the interesting news we learned about Cindy Kaza today, because I'm so excited.
Oh yeah, Cindy Kaza, guys, phenomenal lady, phenomenal worker, phenomenal para-celebrity, we'll call her. She just got picked up, and she's going to be doing the new season of Dead Files with Steve Dushavy instead of Amy Allen. Amy Allen is stepping away. So congratulations goes out to Cindy Kaza for that. I think she's going to do an incredible job. So congratulations to her for that. Yep. And how's it going, Joanne, Nikki? I'm just trying to see. Woo, we got some people stepping in here. Melissa, how's it going? Yeah, join again. But yeah, I mean, so there's a lot out there. Chris Williams is another one that comes to mind for me. She started out way back as an investigator in training for TAPS when they were originally the Ghost Hunters. And she went to International Ghost Hunters, and she fell out of the scene. Now she's back. Done a few shows again this season around with the Ghost Hunters crew again. They got Sherry Benedetti. G. Benedetti is another one on the TAP show. We've got a lot of ladies in the paranormal, but again, this is another one of those things. I'm going to bring it up because I gotta. It's another one of those things where I just see them fall into a subordinate role. I don't really see them stepping in to do a whole lot with the teams as leadership. But we've got some really cool statistics, because that's kind of the next step I wanted to talk about, if we could, is some really interesting statistics that I thought I'd bring up, guys. And it's kind of interesting, too. We found these during the research. And let me see if I can get it and pull it up.
Jennifer, I agree. TV won't let us, and we're going to get to that.
I'm trying to find out where
Hi,
I'm at.
Melissa.
I'm trying to find out where I'm at. Sure, at some point I'll get there. All right, so here's some statistics, guys. It's going to take over the screen, but just so we can call them out and go through them, okay? Supernatural numbers: 74% of women versus 54% of men believe in ghosts. I thought that was pretty interesting. Number two, 54% of women versus 36% of men believe that spirits cannot rest if they have unfinished business. That I thought was really odd too. And then lastly, 53% of women versus 34% of men believe that witches are real. I didn't understand that fact. I thought it was pretty interesting though, but I didn't understand, why that would be the whole witch category. That's a pretty dramatic difference.
Especially when you look at the Salem witch trials and how much attention witches and things got during that period. But I think so much of that has been debunked as being control run by Protestant white males that people don't believe in witches.
Well, I guess. I mean, you have the whole Salem witch trials, which that came up in. What I find is interesting, and you and I talked about this, and even Katie has talked about it too in previous shows, that, the other side that we go in search of, I wonder, a lot of times they see us as witches.
Right. We've talked about
of
that.
the things that we do to communicate with them, which is somewhat similar in some ways to what they used to do back in that day, and they got labeled as witches and got burned at the stake for it. But I found that stuff being pretty interesting. Yeah, Herbie says Yvette Fielding, most haunted. Yep, saw that in Monsieur Berlinger. She's been on several shows as well, guesting on a lot of them. But guys, you can go down that list, and it's an amazing list of ladies that do this.
Hi,
and
Lori.
I think, it was kind of, hey, Lori, how's it going? Hey, Sherry, how are you? It's just kind of one of those things. Yeah, and Jennifer said, I've had numerous meetings with PV people, and I've showed them the same, stats, and they don't care. I will tell you, I wanted to kind of cross that bridge a little later, but I want to bring it up now as a subject: gender versus motive. Gender versus motive.
So as you and I were talking, you've talked about, and you talk about this quite often, the fact that women tend to be more empathetic.
Hey, Samantha.
And one of the things in our research that says that one of the reasons they don't want to bring women on to TV is because in this role is because they feel that because we are emotionally driven, that our reaction to a paranormal event is going to be all emotion based and not as believable. Whereas if you get somebody like you, sweetheart, big burly man that hears a ghost speak to them, or hears on the episode that we just watched the other night of Taps, where it sounded like somebody was falling and screaming at the Hoover Dam. If you react to that, they believe people will take it more seriously than if a woman reacts to that, because they feel like we're over the top with our emotion.
Yeah, and I kind of see that, but I have never had an example of a TV group, because we're just talking about the TV portion of this whole game. So that in a TV world, it seems like the hierarchy is always male.
Hi, Melvin.
Always. Hey, Melvin. Always a male, and it's even in the subordinate role below the lead investigator or founder or whatever, the leaders still tend to be the males. And honestly, as a guy who has a team of really 9 people, including some part-timers we have, as a person who has a team of 9 people, having 5 of those being female, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it later, but every team needs a hierarchy. It doesn't mean it's got to be a guy.
Right.
It doesn't mean that. And I think the thing of it is I think again, that role you're talking about is gender part of the roles for the TV shows. To me, that has just been something that, oh, we want to see a man in charge. And that's part of, forget my language, that's part of the bullshit of the TV world of paranormal. Okay? Because I know of some female investigators, including psychic mediums, that could very easily lead a show, could very easily lead an investigation without any challenge, but they just won't do it because that's a gender role that TV seems to assume for the groups, is that the guy's in charge and the guys will be in charge if they're with a woman. If you notice a lot of the shows, if there's a man with a woman investigating, the man's asking the majority of the questions. That's insane. That's insane to me. I don't think I've ever seen anything that it frankly annoys me more. And you and I have talked about that too. You know, right. You've got people that are investigating, male and female investigating together, and the one guy is an absolute blithering idiot. He doesn't need to be doing anything but wiping the dust off the equipment when they pick it up because he just doesn't get it. And the female needs to be leading that investigation. She's asking phenomenal questions. Chris Williams the other night was one of those examples.
Yes.
She was right on point with everything she was asking, right on a point professional about all of it, digging in deeper with relevant questions. And again, it kind of seemed to me that a dude was trying to pick up the role of, oh, I'm in charge and you'll ask questions when I give you the opportunity. That kind of nonsense just blows my mind. You know, I mean, and I've had this conversation in the past in this show. 90%, I believe 85 to 90% of empaths are females.
Yes.
And that is simply because I believe that they operate on the emotional side of the brain and that part's open. But that doesn't mean they're the weaker sex in the paranormal world. They're absolutely not. Now, we got a few people in here that are making some comments.
I'm reading their comments. While you're looking at those and deciding what you want to put up, I wanted to mention as we were doing our research for this
hey, Kelly.
For tonight. So we ran across an interview that was done with the Northern Nevada Ghost Hunters, and it's a team that mainly consists of women. And they said the greatest divide with ghost hunting in the ghost hunting community is not gender, but it is actually motive. And she said that what you see outside of the television world is you see teams that want to help people. They want to study and preserve history. They want to help the haunted. They want to save and promote historical locations. And they also want to advance knowledge in the field. And as we were reading this article with this interview, I remember looking at you and saying, you know, this sounds like our team. This sounds like the Haunted Travelers. This sounds like our motive, because everywhere we host events, we're not making money on those events. We're helping to restore the buildings. We're giving money back to the historical societies.
Right.
And we're trying to educate people, and we try to get people involved with us and let them experience what it's like to use the equipment, to ask the questions. But according to the Northern Nevada Ghost Hunters team, the other side of the motive and what we see on television is you have people who are hoping to become famous. They want to make the money. And these same people get extremely territorial about the locations where they hunt. They will try to jack up the prices where people can't get in there. And I can think of several here locally. And they try to keep others from investigating there or even learning about them. And often they'll generate false experiences, or they're fearmonger for profit. And so you can see the motives are very different. And I can think of one specific really famous ghost hunter that is controlling everything on the Travel Channel.
We ain't going to go there. We're not going to go there. I don't want to be in the middle of that drama.
I can see that side of the motive with those particular things that he does.
Yeah. Now we got a comment that came up from Kelly Drews. First of all, welcome to the show, Kelly. It's good to see you.
Hey,
CT. Your first time in. Welcome. Hello from Australia. Should not matter what gender you are. Proof is proof. Simple. Without the male or female should not make a difference. Also, I don't believe anything on TV. I only like live shows. You're absolutely right.
Yes.
And that's, you got to remember, guys, these shows that come out are entertainment. It is paranormal entertainment. And I'm going to tell you, I have been involved in several shows. I have been involved in many, many productions in the build-up process. And, one of the things I heard one time from a producer that I about wanted to strangle him on was, make sure you sell it really well. Well, what are we? Are we actors or are we paranormal investigators? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, again, gender shouldn't make a difference. Proof is proof. If you give proof, phenomenal.
And sweetheart, it's great that you bring that up because one of our other investigators, Carmen, and I have talked several times that when we have these public tours and people come out and they don't get immediate responses, maybe a room is dead, pun intended. You're not getting much on your EVPs. I know, I couldn't help myself. That's what happens when you mess with an English teacher. But when you have these things going on, guests that have never done this before come out expecting the things that they see on television. And that's not what you get. Some nights you get great evidence. Other nights, not so much. And it depends on the energy people's bringing to the room too. And so because of the things we see on the negative motive side of this, that impacts what happens when the general public try to get involved in investigations.
Yeah.
One of the other things the girls from Nevada said that men are more prone to risk taking, they're worse at self-preservation, and they're ego-driven, and that's one of the, or more of the many reasons they end up on TV and the women don't.
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of get that. Ego-driven, that's obvious when you look at a lot of the people who are doing the certain television shows. But anyway,
and yes, Kelly, it can be long and boring.
Remain nameless to us, But no, I fully get that. I fully agree. Now, as far as men being bigger risk takers, yeah, men are adrenaline junkies as a habit. When you're younger as a guy, I mean, I was a maniac. I know I was. I would do anything for a thrill or a good time. Where women are kind of, that's why they call, this is some guys, write this down. This is the reason why ladies are called woman. It's not woman, it's whoa, man. Whoa, man. Don't do that, you're going to get hurt. That's the whoa, man. Okay? I still have to rely on my whoa, man to kind of get me out of my holes once in a while, like this morning. Richard almost buried a guy's face in the table at a Waffle House.
That's true, y'all. I had to intervene and say, baby, no.
Yes, he did. And my wife reeled me in and went, no. But I went back and gingerly talked to them later. Yeah. All right, so Herbie says women are considered emotional, mothering, and that is why the people really don't believe in female paranormal investigators. It's also a very male chauvinistic paranormal world.
Preach,
Herbie. Absolutely right, Herbie. You're absolutely right. And I hate it. There's a team.
I agree, Sherry.
Yeah, there's a team out there I worked with, and one of them's one of the ladies here. And Elite Vixen Paranormal is the name of the team, and I've worked with them before at a location, the Ryder Hotel, as a matter of fact, and at another location where they were doing a public event. And they conduct themselves extremely well. They're very professional ladies, and the whole team is nothing but ladies. And the way they orchestrate their events, the way they participate in investigating, is no different than I've done it for over 26 years. So, I mean, again, applaud yourselves, ladies. That's another thing to look at for that.
Well, we talked about this some, babe, as we were discussing the topic for the show and getting ready for it. We talked about the fact, too, that spirits will react to women differently often than they do react to a man. An example, a child spirit might be more drawn to a woman simply because of the mother figure or the teacher figure.
Yeah. And we've seen that in investigations with you and Carmen.
Right. Yeah. And then you have some spirits that decide they want to get frisky with females. You experienced that with a curator at the Hamilton House. Yeah. We experienced that at Octagon Hall in that bedroom across from Mary Elizabeth's when the spirit decided he wanted to feel both Mariah and I up from the lower back to our shoulders. So, you know, they do react differently to women.
They do, depending upon, I think it depends upon the methodology of which you're investigating and how you're investigating. I do believe also, too, it is the spirit's trigger. Like you said, the child may be more attentive to a female because of the motherly instinct that the woman gives off. Whereas a male would rather participate with a male. It's a guy thing.
Samantha, they love us when we go to prisons. I bet they do.
I mean, you know, let's be real for a minute. All those ladies walk up into prison, you're going to be, all right, so Samantha said the reason why I left my original team to form the old female team is because the females were not being listened to, so I had enough and took all the women with me. Absolutely. The only thing I'll tell you, Samantha, frankly, and Lori and I talked about this briefly today, is the only concern I would have is the cattiness.
Yes.
Because, yeah, I love the ladies. I love investigating with y'all and everything else. But I have noticed that women, when they work together, sauce for milk, table two. So I don't know what the story is behind that. I don't know if it works differently in the paranormal world versus the regular world, where you have to actually answer to another female boss or you work with a team of ladies. But I wonder about that. Has there been any cattiness? Is there anything that triggers, you know, the women to kind of be biting at each other a little bit? Because guys aren't like that. Guys will just go, leave me alone, and walk away. It's just
not us girls. The balls come out.
Yeah, they do.
Hey, so Melvin, you make a great point. Melvin said he has noticed that in Masonic lodges, communications with females is rare. And that's true, because that's a place where females were not welcome. And so they rarely will communicate with a female. There was something else we were watching the other day with a gold mine, one of the shows on television. And the women were not ever allowed in the buildings there at the mine and everything. And they were actually in the place where they get paid when the eagle screams. And the female was told to get out.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a place, I don't want to bring up Kelly's point next that she brought up, never really related to the show, but I need to answer it. There was a place called Hales Bar Dam. Hales Bar Dam used to be open to paranormal investigations, now closed out. Not doing it anymore. They decided to become a distillery.
Good Great point, Jeremy.
But there was a guy there that used to be called the caretaker, the guy who was in charge of the second floor. Women were not very well liked at all. As a matter of fact, my ex-wife, one time so many years ago, got shoved against the wall and called a damn bitch for no reason at all. She was holding the camera. But because she was female, she got attacked by a guy that did not want women there. So I mean, there is that other side of the coin too. Now, Kelly says, do you do live shows? You know, honestly, we may start looking into it. I've just recently gotten some equipment, and much to the chagrin of my lovely wife, I've gotten some paranormal equipment.
And yes, Jennifer, they closed it again.
What's that?
Hales Bar Dam.
Oh, yeah.
They do a paranormal investigation around Halloween. You can get a dual ticket. They actually run a haunted house through there, like an attraction. And you can either get a ticket for that, or you can get the paranormal ticket, or you can get the combo ticket and do both in the same night.
Yeah. But it's a rarity now. They just don't want any part of it. What they don't realize is, I don't think, is I know the history of that building. I've been in there, 30 times. I don't know. That building, the powerhouse, sinks 1/4 of an inch every year. So eventually your distillery is going to be underwater. Yeah. But yeah. So Kelly, do you do live shows? I'm considering it. I need to talk to the team. That's a process. To do them correctly, it's a process. You got to have either really good data signal, or the place has got to have Wi-Fi. They're able to do live investigations. Now, we do work with a class of people here that I could probably do some live shows. I mean, that's something I'd like to look at down the road. I mean, we just got finished being in a documentary in October, and so I mean, we're kind of digging at it a little bit. At least I am, anyway.
Really, Melvin?
Life. Huh?
Melvin says they are opening Bell Witch Cave for investigations.
Adams, Tennessee. I don't, the problem with living in this part of the world that we live in, my dear, is that you don't have to go very far to find a haunted location. I also personally refuse to pay monstrous money for an empty location. So I hope they don't plan on charging a ton.
Melvin says not a good place, but that goes back to also to what the girls from Nevada said about other investigators that purchase things and buildings and things and raising the prices to not let other teams in there.
Yeah. Now Kelly says it only takes one person to step out and get out to
get off the
merry-go-round. Yeah. There's a lot of
And Herbie, I agree. Women are mostly allowed if they're a medium or an assistant ghost hunter, or if they're doing the research, if they're meeting with the historical associations and things, or the archivists, 100%.
And then Melvin Brazel, Melvin said a TV investigators who just had TV producers make the plays. Most is fake. So let me give you an idea. There are some shows out there that I've had friends on over the past few years, several years, that I've watched their shows. Dakota Layden and I, for example, have chatted a million times probably in chat on Facebook. And they did a show at Sweet Spring Sanatorium, the first show, first season, when it was Destination Fear. Now, thank God's Project Fear, and I hope them the best of everything. I love their show.
They're amazing.
They did Sweet Spring Sanatorium, and there is a shot where Tanner goes running down the hallway with Alex, meets up with Alex and Tanner, and comes back down the hallway. And Lori and I noticed it first because I'd watched the series prior to Lori seeing it, but I had watched it and she watched it together. You see a full-bodied apparition of a young girl in one of these rooms on the inside of the doorway. There's no mistaking it. But the TV producers didn't see it.
We'll do it, Kelly.
TV producers did not see it. And they lost out on what I thought was an incredible find, incredible catch.
It was amazing.
Yeah. And Kelly said, go and look at that shape. He debunks so many people. He's amazing. Just my thoughts.
It's called The Shape.
Yeah. Okay. And then, whoops. Nope. Okay. So I had it right the first time. All right. So Kelly says, do not always get something. It's fake. If you get something every time, you go, just my thoughts.
You're not going to get something every time. And some nights you're going to have really good evidence and other nights you're not. And back to the live show question, we actually have done a couple live streams on Facebook. Part of the problem with doing some of that is I know one of the live streams that we did, we were at a undisclosed location. It was a medical clinic and we were not allowed to say where we were. We still can't say. We were doing some private work for them. And so we were live streaming down a hall where a shadow figure kept popping around a corner. And we also live streamed from Octagon Hall in the downstairs parlor where one of the spirits was about to blow up our REM pod because it would not leave the REM pod alone, which was pretty cool. But then the next time we went back, that didn't happen in that room. And the energy was different. The evidence we got was different. So you don't always get something.
No. And I would like to say yes to that. To a degree, you might. I'm going to explain why I say you might down the road. Jennifer says Amy Bruni is told of times producers have cut evidence on the show, things she thought was great evidence. Right, because you don't control the show. The producers do. The producers put up what they think, is going to make great TV. Now, I'm sorry. I've seen evidence and heard evidence than both of us have. Lori and I have sat there multiple times and went, that just said get out. And it never made air. It never made TV. And then there's a time again with Sweet Spring Sanatorium where that apparition, a little girl, was standing in the friggin' doorway. And nothing. No mention of it at all because you're just a talent. I've been there. I know. You're just a talent. You show up.
Maybe you are not just the talent. You are the Richard Ruland Also known as the Pawpaw.
Yeah, I'll take the Pawpaw all day long. Sherry, good to see you. Sherry says, I don't watch many paranormal shows anymore since becoming an investigator. You know too many are fake. Absolutely. I will tell you, bar none, the only one I will watch and follow is no longer part of a network television. That is Project Fear.
Carmen.
I will watch Project Fear on YouTube the minute they go air because they just finished filming their first road trip. First season, as it were. And once that goes up on YouTube, it's going to be free to you to watch. It'll be without all the BS that the producers want you to see. And it's going to be a show I rely on and trust.
And they are amazing. And speaking of women in the paranormal, Chelsea Layden is part of that team. And she is amazing. And her faces are fantastic during investigations. Like, I love to watch her faces.
All right, so let me see. We got a bunch.
I think you should put up Carmen's last comment.
As soon as I get to it. I got a lot of comments.
Carmen, he's not going to put that up.
Yeah, I have noticed. Let me see here. Melvin said, I've noticed in Masonic lodges, communication with females is rare because they were not allowed in that group.
No.
Women are not allowed in the Masonic group. The orders they're not allowed. And, they're very secretive people about how they do things. So, yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Sherry says she's missing kindred spirits.
Samantha and her team said they love us when we go to the prisons. I bet. We got a lot, guys. Thank you, too, for all the commentary. Jeremy says, hey, Jeremy, Things Network. That's one of our networks, guys. That's one of the owners. Says, I have several ladies on my team, and these ladies are incredibly smart and creative. I'd be stupid not to listen to them. You got that right, buddy. You got that right. And again, Kelly, everyone is an individual and should be treated like this. Absolutely. Yeah, so I know this is kind of an older comment. Herbie says, it also depends on the spirit. If it's a male spirit that was murdered by a man, it feels like he is being challenged. If a spirit was murdered by a female, it would challenge her. I will tell you, in my experience in investigating, and I think my wonderful wife can back me up on this. It is funny that sometimes you'll get a male spirit that'll interact completely differently, but not benign, will not act out in any way towards either sex, but will operate with them differently like they would if they were alive, which is interesting. I thought that was pretty damn interesting personally.
Hey, sweetheart, if you scroll on down to Herbie's comment about Donna LaCroix of Ghost Hunters, I think that's a great point. Since we're talking about women in the paranormal.
We have a ton here I'm trying to get through.
We do.
Samantha says we have done a lot of building and building with our team, mostly just because of schedule conflict. But honestly, we get along great. We have almost been a team for 5 years now. And we don't just paranormal together. We go to weddings, baby showers, vacations. We have established deep friendships. So I think that helps along the whole caddy thing, but I don't know, not on this team, LOL. And I would agree that I think, with our team, again, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because we're going to talk about how the Haunted Travelers work. We are a blended family. I think that is a prerequisite for anybody being on our team. For example, if you don't gel with the team, I don't care if you're the best investigator in the world. If you don't blend together, you got to go in the dark with these folks for 8, 9, 10 hours.
Yeah.
On average. You better be okay with it, and everybody better be good with it, or it's going to screw up the entire investigation. So,
well, and you have to build those relationships. Our team, we go out to eat together before investigations. A lot of times we eat again after the investigation, depending on how many hours it's been. We have team meetings where we go to dinner and talk about, hey, what went well with the investigation? What didn't go well? What could we change? What could we do better? We text each other. We have a group chat on Facebook. So it's not catty. It's us getting along and making those deposits into each other. But I agree with Richard. Being a school teacher and having worked in various schools that are mostly women, because we have very few male teachers at the elementary level, women can be really catty. They like those claws.
I'm not putting up the Richard Rulin. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Go Carmen. Go Carmen.
I'm going to put it up only to explain it. So let me explain it a little bit, okay?
Baby, you are a celebrity. There is no explanation needed. Look, everyone here is your fam. They know you are the Richard Rulin.
No. Look. No. Look, let me explain what happened. So we were filming. We were getting filmed in a documentary. You know, we were the talent, as you would. We were the people to bring the ghosties. So we were at a restaurant together as a team, and it was a couple of people's birthday. It was Devin and Mariah's birthday at the time. And we had a cake and all that kind of stuff. And we were in a public restaurant, pretty large one, Colorado Grill, right?
Yes.
Yep. Colorado Grill in Franklin, Kentucky. Great restaurant. Octagon Hall, incredible place to go. Anyway, so we were going to film our segment at Octagon Hall. And we had our gear on. We had the shirts. We had the jackets, the hoodies with the big sun in the back says Dion and Travelers. And we were sitting there.
Trying to eat our dinner.
Huh?
Just trying to eat.
Just trying to eat our dinner, man. Just trying to get a bite of grub. And this lady rolls up with a friend or two. And she looks at all of us. She goes, So Walking Horse Hotel haunted? Yeah. Crazy haunted. Why? Well, I just love the fact you guys went there. Said, yeah, we're here for, and before we could say we're here for Octagon Hall to film there in that location.
She knew.
Oh, I know. You're there to film in Octagon Hall. I know. You're filming the film Finding Purgatory. I know you're there for that. I know. And Holland Travelers. I'm stalking you guys.
Those were her exact words, y'all. I'm stalking
you guys. And I'm like,
two of our male investigators were on the far end of the table, and they start talking that they are going to stop at the next gas station and get on opposite sides of the parking lot or the store. And one of them was going to yell out, "Hey, isn't that Richard Rulin? I think that is the Richard Rulin." They had me spitting Coke across the table at another investigator.
Wow. Yeah,
it was great.
All right, so the Donald LaCroix thing, Ghost Hunters was asked if she noticed anything being fake. She replied that she hadn't, but that the team knew how she would react to something like that, so they must have hidden that stuff from her. She then states that there was an instance where she refused to name names on the show, but she was a victim of editing and that she cried for 4 days over it, and she was lied to and told to keep her mouth shut. All right, again, yeah, I know the Donald LaCroix situation. Again, this is Paranormal Entertainment TV. Okay, they're going to select and choose whatever they want to do to fake evidence. If you go, here's the reality of it. If you go to Google, right, and you type in Taps of Ghost Hunters faking evidence, they'll show you things that the camera caught that when slowed down, you go, oh. Now, am I saying they're faking evidence? No, I'm not. But what I'm saying is that there's some things in this that kind of make you go, this is put on.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if, I'm not sure if it's faked or not. I can't say it, but it's pretty suspect.
Well, I think as paranormal investigators, we have to, as we're watching things like this or taking things in, babe, I know that we do this. We think, that was a pretty cool technique. I'd like to try that, but it seems kind of sus. Yeah. And so we've talked about trying out some things that we've seen or pieces of equipment that we're not sure that, that seemed pretty cool, but was that really the fact, or was that TV land?
And the thing of it is, it's unfortunate, but because we know,
hi Nadine,
and majority of the public know that there's a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because we've caught bullshit, we've seen bullshit, you can't give it 110% trust. There's a lot of suspect BS that goes on, especially about one in particular dude who shall remain nameless. But I'm just saying. Anyway,
excuse me, allergies.
You need to get some pills for that cold. Anyway, oh my God. So, but anyway, I was asked about it when I first started doing our show, Hunting the Unknown Truth, years ago. I was asked about, well, how do you feel about faking evidence? I said, how do you feel about my fist down your throat? I said that to the producer. How do you feel about my fist going down your throat? You feel good about that? And he's like, well, that's a little serious. I said, what I do is serious. There was nothing ever on that show ever faked. And as far as going to, and I want to address this briefly, it's not a pat on our back as a team of the Haunted Travelers, but it's the reality. Okay, what you got? When you have a team, I've got what, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, at least 4 psychic mediums on my team. I have an additional 3 sensitives.
Wow, Samantha.
I have at least an additional 5, until 5 empaths on the team. At least 5. Maybe
well, and
6.
Jennifer mentioned motherly instinct, and you have several mothers on the team, that have these abilities as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the other one, it isn't, I think the only reason why it isn't, the whole thing with the abilities is when you open up a building and you put, even when we just had normal 6 or 7 of us, you put the normal 6 or 7 of us, out of that 6 or 7, 5 are going to be psychic mediums or empaths, a minimum of 5. Then you might have 2 sensitives. What that does is when you go into a building, it's a paranormal generator. It's like cranking a handle. We have been, like, we went to Octagon Hall to film, and we were in there, and there was a recording going at the time. No, there was a spirit box going at the time.
Yes.
And that spirit box, when we walked into the room, this gorgeous dining room that we set up in, it said, they're back.
Multiple spirits
said males, females, they're back. That is because they recognize us for who we are. They recognize spirits know who can perceive and see and hear and feel of the people in the world, right? So if you've got people on your team and every one of them can see, feel, or hear, boy, that's going to literally bring them. You will have spirits. This is a known fact. You will have spirits come to the building that don't normally even tread in the building.
Yeah.
And then they will leave when we leave.
Well, I was thinking about when you and I went to that fort before we did our public investigation, when we went to check it out, and we went in the building where they would, I forget what you call it, the gun building or whatever.
Yeah.
You know which building I mean, sweetheart?
Yep.
And when we walked in, we have on EVP a spirit saying, kind of like psychic mediums.
Yeah. So they know. I mean, they know who they're dealing with. They have a pretty good idea.
Well, and being a trans medium, I recently had a friend's deceased father reach out to me, friend from high school. And where we live now, like, he would have no reason to know where I was, how to find me, how to contact me. And he was literally driving me nuts, talking to me. And I finally asked him, how did you know where to find me? And he said to me, you're marked.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people I know would be scared to death of that, but I think there's 2 different kinds of mark. I think there's a demonic mark that people get, and I think that's one to be scared of. I think when you're marked from the other side, it's because it's kind of like a registration of who you are. Like, oh, okay, wait, oh yeah, that one, like a medium, psychic medium. Yeah. That came from a spirit, for Christ's sakes. Now, how do they know that? Unless they can read who you are and what your abilities are. So
yes, Melvin, it does, and it's our home away from home. It calls to us. Melvin says the hall knows you. Yes, it does.
now Sherry said I interviewed for a couple of shows. They didn't pick me. I was telling them about my home in Mississippi. I don't think they thought I was scared enough. Honestly, there's a million reasons why. I know there's a couple of shows I didn't get picked up for because I'm not Brad Pitt lookalike. It's the reality of it. They want somebody younger who probably has like shit experience. I'm sorry, it's the truth. But they want somebody who's a pretty boy or a pretty girl can catch the. And this is a known fact that will be eye candy for the television viewers. They don't want you if you have a mountain of experience because that means you're probably older. And they don't want you if you have a real life body because they want you to be emaciated. Because again, this is still what society expects. So that's why you get people who come out and do like what Project Fear did with Dakota and Chelsea and Tanner and Alex. They went ahead and said, you know what? We're doing this without all the bullshit of the networks. We're doing this without all the bullshit of the production companies. And they came across and they got on the GoFundMe program $387,000. That's enough to fill more than 2 seasons.
Yes, Jennifer, I agree.
Fear. So that's what they're doing. It's just crazy, Sherry. So don't sweat it.
Jennifer also said most viewers are women. Herbie, I think it was Herbie that just had a great question about have we ever had a spirit that only communicated with females? And the answer to that would be yes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's okay.
We also ran into a spirit who wanted to, for lack of a better word, bully an autistic person that was there investigating. Happened to be our son, our youngest son. And Mama got a little confrontational. And the spirit didn't like that. He didn't like communicating with me. He called me all kinds of filthy names.
Like a universal, what was it? A universal
tramp? A universal tramp.
Yeah. Whatever. Christy said that's why so many of the paranormal shows are being canceled. I will tell you there's other reasons behind why a lot of those other shows are being canceled. It really has nothing to do with the fact that you guys shows, no offense, again, I hate beating a dead horse, but Destination Fear had one of the highest rating panels of any show out there. Then you got another show called The Holzer Files. Loved that show. Didn't get season 3 because somebody thought their ratings were bad. Their ratings weren't bad. You should have heard the complaints from the people that were watching that show when they got canceled. So there's a lot of reasons behind cancellations. A lot of people don't like competition. And I'm going to leave that right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Herbie says rhymes with back. Let me see here. So Nadine said, I intend to fully get into investigations again soon. I haven't because there are family issues. And I didn't want to do this while having family issues and have any entities or negative energies involved in my family. Good job. Good point. Let me tell you something. I always make an assessment as well as everybody does. I think everybody on our team looks out at each other and goes, "Are you okay?" If your mind is not set, you can easily become a victim. Because no offense, you can be the strongest investigator in the world, but if you have something holding you down, you become the weakest link, and you would become the easiest fodder for any negative attachment or any kind of negative energy, because you are the weakest link emotionally. And that's something to be concerned with. Absolutely.
Right. And I think good team leaders actually, assess their team before we go to any investigation, and not just the day of. I mean, starting a week or more out. I know, babe, you will start assessing. One of our investigators lost her best friend to a horrific car accident. And she doesn't go on a lot of our investigations right now because some days she's good. And then other days she's like, I don't think I can do this right now. And, babe, there's even been times that you have had to assess me and say, are you sure this is a good idea right now?
Thank you, Melvin. Yeah, you made comment about his comment about the hall knows you. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, yeah, I mean, everyone has times in their life when the life isn't as clear as it should be. It's more like rocks and muddy water. Shit happens. Life happens. You know what I mean? You may have an argument with your wife or your husband or your son or your daughter or the person sitting next to you or even somebody on a team. If that is not cleared up, if your mind is not set to move forward clearly, you're going to damage yourself. You take a chance in damaging yourself. You take a chance of damaging your team. Or you take a chance of really screwing up the investigation because your mind's not with it.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it. We have a friend of ours that did a public event. I kicked her out of the event.
Yes.
Because she was attacked. And well, not so much attacked, but she was kind of abused by a spirit that pushed her down in the building to the ground.
And she's an empath.
And pushed her down to the ground. And
she's
she
an
went
outside
and I saged her. Yep, I saged her and I cleansed her and I looked at her and said, "You're not going back in that building." And this is a friend of ours. I'm like, "You're not going back in that building."
At our last public investigation, 3 of us got banned from the building.
And it's just done for their protection. Lori was one of them. Lori and Carmen and Autumn got
Autumn, all 3 of us.
Bye, ladies. Take care now. No. Bye-bye now. There was a spirit up there on the 3rd floor of that building that loves to mess with women. And
4 women were messed with that night. Wait. Yeah, 4 women.
5.
Banned. That's right, Carmen. We were banned. The spirit actually told Carmen it wanted to kill me. And it had already caused my heart rate to go up to 133 beats per minute while standing completely still. So.
Yeah, now Herbie, I know we answered that question for you. Did we answer it sufficiently? I hope. There needs to be more female demonologists, but here's the thing. I don't see that happening anytime really soon.
Is that because of the hierarchy in the church?
Well, it's not just the hierarchy. Sorry, my sinuses are killing me. Allergies suck. It's not just the hierarchy of the church. It is the demonic world is nothing women want to play with. Because what? They're smarter. All right? They're smarter. They don't want to do it. If you got an idiot sick man, and we know a lot of them, I have a friend of mine, dear friend of mine, he's been on this show as a co-host. He's been on, 28 Days. He's been on Ghosts of Morgantown. He's a demonologist. He'll tell you point blank. He's almost lost himself a couple of times. Now, I'm going to go ahead and not call the entire male race somewhat hindered by intelligence, but we are not as intelligent as women. Women weren't a part of that shit.
Or you're intimidated by intelligence in women. A lot of men, not you. Clearly, you married this, but
but it's just that thing that women are just smart enough to realize, hey, I don't want to deal with that crap. And I've gotten to a point in my time now, in my cycle of life, I've gotten to a point where I don't want to go into a building that has demonic possession or infestation because I don't want to deal with it. I want to deal with the benign hauntings. Okay, for the most part, Octagon Hall is extremely benign and a wonderful place to investigate. Yeah, there's one guy that's a bit of a jerk, but every building's going to have one of those. But not somebody who wants to jump you, take over your life, take over your body. That kind of demonic shit, I don't even want any part of it anymore, and I'm tired of it, personally. Sherry said, I've had spirits call out my name on occasions. I've never been before, and I'm a sensitive and empath and audio clairvoyant. Right. It's not a matter of, Laura, are you with us?
Yes, we're here.
Okay.
Sorry, I was looking. I'm trying to answer a question that was asked. I'm looking.
I thought you were filming a TikTok.
Yes, that's it.
So yeah, the whole name calling thing. You don't have to have been there before. I've had my name called. I can't even begin to tell you how many times. What we have to understand is intelligent haunts are kind of like learning remotes. All right. If your name's even mentioned most of the time by somebody else on the team, they are going to learn your name.
Yeah.
And if they think that they can call your name and intimidate you, they will.
I heard Jennifer Spears' name called at the Right Hotel several times.
Yeah. But I will tell you, here's the thing.
Yes, Carmen, because he's the Richard Ruland.
What's that?
Carmen said everywhere, they all love you. And I said, yes, because you're the Richard Ruland.
Oh, Christ, no. The thing of it is, here's an example of what I'm talking about with the ladies becoming, again, the paranormal fodder in a situation. We do something called the human pendulum. We investigate. When we do events or investigate, either one. The first time I did the human pendulum at the Right Hotel, all five of my people in the group I had were female. All five of the females, while they were inside the circle, being the pendulum, lost their shit. They cried their eyes out, and they had no idea why. Because they were making an actual emotional connection with a spirit in that building, and it just got to them emotionally. But that's another reason why I think, too, that a lot of times spirits are attracted to the female investigators because they think they might be able to get to them. Maybe not so much in, again, a demonic way, but at least in a benign way. At least. All right, so let's look at the other. I know we had more.
Yeah, you've got some great questions that have popped up.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about this next. Let me pull this up because we've had a lot of guys. Thank you so much. We're so happy that we're able to bring you guys a. Let me see. Were we talking about this one? The question is really for Rich. Oh shit. Him being a former pastor. Yes, I was a former minister. It was said to me that this kind of stuff isn't walking spiritually with the Lord. But if it wasn't, why does the Lord give us the power to cast out demons or evil spirits? Oh, okay. I think, Herbie, just to answer that question, it depends on your belief system. Okay? The Bible is pretty clear when it says that he gave us power over the spirits. What pastors will preach about you not getting involved in the paranormal is because if you don't know how to manage it, you will again become a target. So in their eyes, they rather preach from the pulpit that you don't need to mess with spirits. You don't need to play with spirits. You don't. And I'm going to tell you, I've had people that have come on tours, like the one that Lori's talking about that was in the human pendulum at Hamilton House. And when he got tossed around like a dish rag in the middle of that circle by a spirit, that man, I think, actually trickled pee. I could be wrong, but I think he trickled pee. And
he won't even go on investigations anymore.
Yeah, never come back. Never again. Nope, never happened. So I think
their friends say he won't even talk about it.
Yeah. So I think that's another reason why we look at this stuff and kind of, from the pulpit, so to speak. No, I don't think it's intelligent for everybody to mess with it. Nope, sure don't. I think there are certain people, and I will just say this, if it stirs the rocks and muddy waters, guys, I'm sorry, but I believe that the gifts that I have were given to me from God.
That's exactly what Carmen says.
Yeah, I fully believe that God has given me the gifts of discernment and everything else because that is what he wants me to utilize for good. And I do. I utilize it and read people all the time. I help protect my team with it. It's just things that I get, and I believe they're all gifts from God. And a lot of churches have a problem with the paranormal because, A, they don't know how to answer it. B, their teachings are unsound. There's a particular belief that thinks that everything that came in after life or after death, anything that appears after death, is a demon. Well, that would mean that Christ is a demon.
Lazarus
is a zombie.
Where's the mummy?
Huh?
Where's the mummy?
I don't know. But again, this is kind of one of those things, guys, where you can get, there are 267 different sects of religion. So that means there's 267 ways, according to those people, that you get to heaven. Now, some, you're a number. Only 144 are going to get to heaven. Okay, I had a kid this is not, and I want to end the discussion on the religion part of it, but here's just a funny takeaway. I had been woken up. I bounced to the bar that night. I got home at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was out Saturday morning. I was out like a light. 8:30 in the morning, I got these kids. Boom, 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 boom. Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on the door. Sir, can we talk to you about our guys? So what church do you represent? They handed me a watchtower flyer. Jehovah's Witness. Nothing against that religion other than the fact that they told me they wanted to teach me and talk to me about how to go to heaven. The first question out of my mouth they couldn't answer was, what number are you? And they just kind of looked at me, what? What number are you? Your Bible says only 144 are going to heaven. What number are you? So again, everything depends upon, guys, your faith base. That's what you have to look at. So no, I mean, I was a minister for the Church of Christ. Don't think for a half second they liked anything I did after I left and I told them about it. Whoops. It's my life. Please find a way to deal with it. All right. So let me see here.
Babe, I wanted to add to that. Since you were bringing up religion, we were actually investigating at the Gaines house in Tennessee. And we had met a couple. Well, we had met the gentleman on the square after we had got done eating. And he and his wife joined us to do some filming. And his wife asked us if we worshiped the devil, if we were Satan worshipers. And we had to clarify to her that we were Christians and that, no, we don't. We don't worship Satan. We don't read the Satanic Bible. That, we believe in Christ and we believe that we're spiritual and that we pray and to God. But she was very scared that we were Satan worshipers.
Yeah, because they do things a little differently. Nadine says the Episcopal Church has been more open and involved with exorcism and demonic energies and willing to help out quicker than the Catholic denomination, I believe. Do you agree? Let me tell you, and I do and I don't to a point. I have gone in and I have cleaned up as a paranormal investigator and the guy who's trained in cleansing both people and houses and buildings. I have personally had to go in and clean up after men of the church, preachers, ministers, whatever you want to call priests, whatever, who did not have enough conviction nor confidence behind what they were doing and wound up stirring up all kinds of crap and wound up not doing any better, but wound up doing a lot worse. So I'm not sure, even if it's a Catholic priest thing or an Episcopal church thing. I know some churches are getting to a point where they are believing that there is spirit activity that has to be attended to. You don't really have a choice. I would dare to take any skeptical Christian believer, and I guarantee you I could take you to 1 to 2 locations and straighten you out about saying there's no such thing as ghosts. It really just depends upon your belief system, I think, personally. All right, Lori said, I had my name called once when I was at work in a department store. No one was around me as the store was closing, and I was at the back of the store putting stock away. Yeah. Again, there's several reasons for that, Lori. There is the reason that they would like to probably try to intimidate you to get your energy. There's also the reason that they may just want to have your attention. But remember, sometimes the spirit getting your attention is not always the best either. Because what they will do is they will use your energy to continue on. They have to have thermal heat. to continue on, and you are a buffet of thermal heat. And that's something you have to look at as well. Is everything okay on your end over there, Lori?
Yeah, I'm getting a critical battery warning, and it's plugged in, but it doesn't look like it's charging. So I'm wondering about the electrical outlet in here.
Well, that's great. Kate at the
If I
right
disappear,
hotel.
that's why.
What's that?
If I disappear, that's why the battery died.
Oh, awesome. Kate, the lady who was at the right hotel, Kate Wright, remembered my husband from a previous visit there, and it was a year prior. Yeah, Kate's a great character at that building, the right hotel. She's really a great character. Okay. As a Christian, I truly believe it's a gift that God gives us. Yes, Carmen, you're right. It absolutely is. Herbie says, "Thank you, Rich. That really helps." Not a problem. I hope it did. I don't know. Nadine says, "I agree with your answer to my question, Richard. Thank you. You're always welcome. No worries." Lori said, "I could have been a past employee that I had worked with that had passed away." Anything is a possibility, and I would not decline to say that that's not a possibility either. We all have lived past lives, right? So you never know what you were in a past life half the time. You know maybe who you were attached to in a previous life, but you don't really know sometimes what you did. But again, I've had people that, they may have heard your name before in that building and you worked there. So your name was probably called several times, Lori, and that's probably what happened.
Now, baby, I will tell you that my mama was a firm believer that if you heard your name called and no one was around, you didn't answer because she believed that was the devil trying to get your attention.
Oh, well, there are times I don't think she's wrong. I think the more attention you give a demonic spirit, the worse it is for you. I believe that. If I have to deal with a demonic spirit, I'm going to deal with you and get the hell out.
We have solved the battery problem.
Oh, cool. So, and we're already at an hour and 12 minutes. We've only got 18 minutes left and it's done. So I'm going to blow through, this last question here we're on in the banners is not a whole lot to really deal with, but we've kind of dealt with it. But now
we didn't actually, if you'll back up just a second to the where are we now, what we didn't talk about is the fact that a lot more all-female paranormal teams are starting to come out. You've got the Southern Ghost Girls out of Alabama. You've got Double X Paranormal out of Denver, Colorado. The Association of the Paranormal out of Raleigh, an all-girl paranormal society out of Colorado Springs. You've got Moonlit Paranormal out of Lashmeet, West Virginia. And FPI, the Paranormal Investigators, female paranormal investigators out of Tampa, Florida. So we are starting to see more and more all-female teams emerge into the paranormal arena. They're just not making it to television.
Right.
And do the role is small.
Yeah. And then, Elite Vixen Paranormal that Samantha is one of the members of here, one of the founding members of, that was on the show here. I don't know if she's still here now. And Jennifer just said the Georgia Ghost Girls. I'm not sure of the exact reason why they're not getting television attention. I think it does have something to do with how they want men to be a part of the major role of all these things. But the one thing I will tell you, and I'm going to get to the final section since we're running low on time, is, you talk a great game, Rich, but, how about the Haunted Travelers? All right. So let me explain something to you. I have the ladies in the group. We have Lori, we have Carmen, we have
Wanda,
Sydney, we have Wanda, and we have Autumn. Okay. There are times that I will see Carmen and Lori whip out dowsing rods. And that's their gig. And I just step back and just ask questions and they get answers. It is not, I let them run that because they're damn good at it. They get confirming answers all the time. I have not once ever seen an answer that did not confirm the other.
We would love that, Nadine.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm just at a point where we have that. Yeah, we have a hierarchy. Yeah, we do. I'm the founder of the team members, founder of the team. I also own the name, but that happened long before I met Lori. That happened long before I met Carmen. That happened long before I met anybody else on the team, period. And yeah, there is that hierarchy because as a business, we have to have somebody in charge and we have to have a second in command. We have to have a third in command, a fourth in command. And that is due based on nothing other than your tenure, your experience, and your professionalism level. And that's really how it goes. But if the ladies want to go take off to go investigate another part of the building, go ahead. As long as I haven't gotten a read of a demonic spirit in the building where you're going, go ahead. I mean, I'm here to let them do whatever they do. They want to try something, they try it. There's no, hey, I'm in charge because I'm the guy. Hell, half the time now, 3/4 of not all the time now, every time we do an event or an investigation, Lori's sitting out there directing people about where to put equipment, how to put equipment up, putting it up herself. She's stepped in as another leader. And she's female. If I couldn't make an investigation, God forbid, and it was a benign location and they had to do it, I have no problem with my ladies handling it.
We've even talked about dividing an investigation into the girls versus the boys to see who collects the most evidence at a location.
Yeah, but I was
last location was just not the one.
So, I was worried about how badly you would lose. So I'm not,
Oh, no, that's not going to happen. Just like I outfished you, sweetheart. It's not going to happen. Love you, mean it. He's still sore, y'all. We went fishing. He took me to his favorite hole, and I caught a largemouth bass. It was beautiful, just under the limit. He caught nothing.
Nadine says if we were living there, I would join you guys in it with Herbie. Absolutely, and that'd be fun. Sherry said, ew, what about Stormy Daniels? Oh my God.
No, we're not going there, Sherry. No.
I could say things right now, but it's so inappropriate.
Let's not. This is a family show. Keep it clean.
I won't. Let me put it to you this way. I'd rather watch Conjuring with Kesha.
No.
Than watch that show you just talked about.
Or Knock Knock Ghost.
No, we're not that way. Carmen says our team rocks. Yes, it does. All right. So Lori Ramsey said right there with you, Richard, as founder, lead investigator, lead psychic meeting of my team, Southwest Michigan Paranormal Investigators United. It is my job to keep the team safe first and foremost. First off, Lori, congratulations that you're running a team like that. Good to hear about it. Good on you. Yes, part of our job, and I take that role as well because I am kind of a father figure. Mm-hmm. I'm the dad to one of our guys on the team, our son Devin, and then Aaron, who's Carmen's son, that I had nothing to do with making in this world, is kind of our paranormal son. Yeah. I've had Aaron around us even back when I filmed our last show. He's been with me now going on 8 years. So he's kind of like another son to us. So, and Jason, who's on our team, is one of his husbands, kind of like the uncle that everybody laughs with. But that's just kind of how our family dynamic is. And it is a family dynamic. We do laugh and joke. We watch out for each other and we protect each other. And, I'll go to the ends of the earth for these people. And, the whole thing, that whole dynamic of the female taking second seat, not in our team. Our team is about as open and equally divided as it can be. Yeah. And at times more on the ladies' side than it is on the guys' side. The guys are usually more along the lines of the security and pickup team than just about anything at the time. But it's something that we enjoy doing. So we have a very diverse team and we're very proud of it because it is a very big.
The women on our team are not afraid to step up into those leadership roles. Right. We were talking earlier about faking evidence, and we had some guests do that at two of our most recent investigations. And Carmen stepped right up to instruct them all to turn their phones off because they had a flashlight that they were controlling from their phone to fake paranormal activity. And Carmen was able to step right up and say, hey, turn those off. We're not going to touch those. And we're not going to mock the spirits here. And, you know, we don't have a problem with the ladies stepping up and saying, at the last event, Wanda had to step up and say, hey, we're not going to coerce. We're not going to provoke. You need to stop now.
The only thing I will say about that, and you're absolutely right, hon, you are. The only thing I will say about that is I am Papa Bear. And that's not because I'm in charge. I am Papa Bear. So any one of my ladies have been fully engaged to say, stop it to a person during an event or whatever. But I will tell you this. You mess with any of the ladies on my team, you will deal with me in ways that you will leave you with nightmares you'll never forget. Because that is my family. That is my paranormal family. And I won't stand for it. But they're all there. My wife has asked people to leave several times. I wasn't there for that. She took care of it herself. But if she ever needs me, she knows I'm a radio button away most of the time. Or yell. I listen to yells really well. She's my wife. I get yelled at once in a while.
Watch it easy.
You know. But I know what my name sounds like when it's being yelled. And I know that that's usually not a good thing. So I will come running. And God bless the idiot sick that's done anything to any one of our ladies. That'll be a real problem for me and for them.
Hence the poor guy at Waffle House who almost found the table with his
He didn't walk out of there with a broken nose. He's okay. He's okay. All right. So let's go to Lori real quick. She said, I have zero hesitations in looking out for our team, for other teams we are working with as well. Also, as an ordained minister, I always go in first before bringing the team in. Right. And I got you. We do what is called a safety walk ourselves. When we get to a location, myself and Laura, most of the time it's and or Lori, we'll walk into the building to kind of assess the energies that we're dealing with, kind of assess, this area might be a problem.
Do you mean like an infestation and offerings?
Offering infestations, yeah. Guys, it is, I can't, I know this is not a point of order for the show tonight, but I cannot stress enough. Open your eyes, watch what's going on in the investigation buildings you go to, because there is some crap going on. Voodoo, demonic offerings, things like that we called at the last event.
Watch your team, watch your guests.
Yeah, watch your team, watch your guests. When they start acting differently, start acting weird, get them the hell out of the building.
And have a cleansing kit. Please have a cleansing kit.
Yeah, a cleansing kit, guys. Bring yourself. We have a bag. So it's kind of what I used to call, my dad used to call the military a ditty bag. It has got sage, Palo Santo wood, a bottle with sea salt. I've got it all. If something hits the fan, I'm more than ready to take care of it. But we do that with every event as well, too. So that helps.
We also do a safety walk of the buildings. An example, the last building that we were in, Carmen and I walked through, and there were places where we put chairs or signs over open vents and things because we didn't want anyone to get hurt.
Yeah, and Lori Ramsey said exactly where it will be. There will be zero tolerance for provocation with team members or with spirits. I will not tolerate bullying either. Absolutely, we don't. We have that little spiel that I do at the beginning of every event that basically says, hey, you get caught provoking, one time you'll be told to stop. Second time, you'll be asked to leave the building. If you don't leave the building, I will come snatch you up by the back of your head and by your pants, and I will toss you out of the building.
The same thing if we find out you're under the influence, you're out of here.
I mean, we don't allow people to come to our events under the influence in any way. I will not allow anyone who is enhanced to ever enter the building. It is not a smart way to go. And I had to have that conversation 3 times in the last event out to the public, and I don't ever want to do it again. That is not for me. Anthony Lewis says, yes, some people just don't know safety of a need for a ghost. Yeah, you got that, Anthony. Also, too, I think you're also a new viewer. We appreciate you viewing. Come back anytime you can. Yeah, a lot of people just don't understand. We also, as part of our conversation, say point blank, don't purposely scare the people that are in the building.
Yeah. Carmen.
They That's a long story. I don't even know if we got 6 minutes left. I'm not sure we have time for that story. But anyway, yeah, we don't allow it. We won't allow you to bully our guests. We won't allow you to bully our ghosts. We won't allow you to do any of that kind of crap. It just won't be allowed.
People just know you're never alone in the bathroom at a haunted location. Just know
No.
that. And don't
Herbie
count on
says,
your
I
friends,
honestly
right, Carmen?
Herbie says, I honestly believe that to perform a serious grade investigation, respect for each other will be paramount regardless of gender. Absolutely. Carmen says, sage is not expensive to buy some. You're right. It's like $11, $12 on eBay for a bag of 10 small sticks. Infestations or offerings, there are so many buildings that people have no clue what went on there. You cannot just go running in like wild animals. Absolutely right, Lori. Herbie says neither is sea salt. Sea salt's cheap. I can get a box, a container like this, like the Morton salt container at Walmart for $2.89 for sea salt, granulated sea salt. Get you some.
And sweetheart, I don't think
spray bottle for $1.
I don't think we could stress enough to the teams out there that are going into investigations or running public events to know the building that you're going into to some degree, to know whether or not it needs to be a novice hunt or an advanced hunt or an over 18 hunt. Right. And not because of content, but because of what's in the building.
Right. And Lori says, as the last comment, guys, before we lock it up for the night, she says, as a woman that has been involved in the paranormal my entire life, you learn the ropes and the ins and outs very young for most. You're absolutely right. I'll give you a quick example of that. Before I met Lori, she was having communication with the spirits at night when she was trying to sleep because she didn't know how to manage it during the daytime when it can be properly addressed to the dead. Now she does. So she doesn't get these kind of terrors all the time at night and these visitations all the time at night. So, yeah, and she's been having that situation most, if not all of her life, right?
All my life.
Right. So, I mean, that kind of is what it gets down to.
Imagine being in elementary school and sitting on the stairs in your home watching Confederate soldiers walk through your house in the 1970s in full uniform.
Oh, guess what? Lori MC says, sleep with the fan on, Lori.
We do.
We do.
I have to have the white noise. As a matter of fact, that last night it wasn't working. Richard knows. I woke him up about 4:00 this morning. I'm still not sure if it was paranormal or if it was dream state, but I would have bet money that someone was walking in our bedroom and I kept hearing like these bubbles pop and it scared me.
Yeah. Carmen said, do you order it? If so, how? I'm very interested in that.
Lori said she gets holy water from the Holy Land itself. That's what that's in reference to.
Oh, okay. Well, I do what I do as a psychic medium is I'm able to project white light. So what I have learned to do in teaching Lori, because she has the same ability as a light worker, to be able to clarify the water, which is similar to being holy water, clarify the water with white light, and then add salt and then attack what's going on. I haven't had to go back and redo a location ever. And I've been doing this now for a god-awful long time. And I'm thankful to say I've never had to go back because of that.
Jennifer Spear says she gets her holy water from the monastery in Conyers.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, if you can get it, great. If you're able to charge it with a white light, great. Whatever works for you. But when we do the cleansings of a building or a house, I always charge the water myself. I've actually taken charged water that I've done on 2 water bottles. I'll charge 1 bottle and I'll freeze them both. And when I take them out of the freezer later, one looks like a big piece of glass. The other one looks like a broken piece of glass. And that's
which is exactly what Richard's been doing to teach me to do it. And we've actually been teaching another member on our team to do that for house cleansings.
And then Anthony says, yes, I've been told that I can talk with spirit in my sleep. And the reason for that, Anthony, is very simple. You are the most open when you're in your dream state or sleep. Right before REM, in REM, you're the most open to metaphysical approach. So that's why it happens mostly at night. Because you're blocking a lot during the day. I know Lori had that issue too, where she was blocking it instead of managing it, so it didn't come to her always at night.
My mantra was, I only want to see it if it's from God.
Yeah. And that's just not, that's just something that you've got to learn how to manage through. But that's the reason why you're getting approached at night when you're asleep. Final thing, Carmen says, my phone was breaking up about the time you said that about the white light. How do you charge it, and do you mix the salt water with distilled or purified water? Now, believe it or not, Carmen, I do tap water. I can purify and clarify tap water with white light, and it's a white light projection, and we'll teach you. You want to learn? We'll teach. Not a problem.
Yeah, it comes from within, Carmen. It's not an actual light. It's something that we project from inside.
All right, guys.
We actually have a ritual we go through at night before laying down now. One of the things that Richard taught me to do is putting that white light bubble around us and dialing down before we lay down to go to sleep so that I'm not haunted, if you will, by the spirits at night.
All right, guys, we're actually over our time. We appreciate you coming out. We love y'all. We hope to see y'all again next time around. Please stay with us. If you got questions, reach out to us.
Hey, and Katie will be back.
Huh?
Katie will be back. Those are big shoes for me to fill, and I'm just filling in because she had another commitment.
Hey, you did a great job. I appreciate it, hon. So, guys, we're going to be back probably next week. And remember, too, we do simulcast to Things Network. You saw the owner of the Things Network on here a moment ago. And also to Parallax Television as well. So, guys, thank you very much. We appreciate it very much. And
if there's things you want to talk about, message Richard so that we can get those topics on the show.
All right. Well, we got to go, guys. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one.
Good night.